Hello again. Start of another trip, this time to the west coast of Tasmania, to an area called the Tyndalls range. I've been here many times before, but this time I'm sort of exploring parts of it that I haven't been to before. It's about a 2.5 hour drive, 2.5 to 3 hour drive from my place. So yeah, hopefully be there in about the next, the car where we park the car, in about the next 10 minutes. So yeah, looking forward to it a great deal. Right, I've just filled the logbook out, and here's where the basic, the route I've got to climb up here. There's a couple of large boulders. We go to the first one and then up and then sidle up. Takes about three hours to get up onto the plateau. It's a bit overcast, but that doesn't matter, it's not hot. So ideal walking conditions really. I've only got my coat on just to get through a bit of this bush here, because often it's quite damp after a bit of rain, and there's certainly been some rain over here. So yeah, it's not cold, so let the grunt begin. Good evening, 7 o'clock, cooking dinner. Yeah, it's still overcast. It's a bit bloody cool actually in the sleeping bag. So yes, some beef teriyaki for dinner, and then tomorrow the big explore out towards Mount Sedgwick. So yeah, we'll see what tomorrow brings. New territory, that's for sure. Forecast is supposed to be alright, so yeah. So, signing off for day one. Just noticed this pencil pine tree in the trunk. Looks like the head of an animal with an eye. I don't know, some moose or something. I love the way the plants cling to the side of the conglomerate rock. Quite spectacular. Got a breath of wind up here. Very peaceful. Solitude. You can't beat it. It's turned out a beautiful afternoon. Just down there is Lake Margaret, where the Lake Margaret power station is. Well worth a visit. I don't know if it's still open for tours. In the distance, Mount Jukes behind the flat one, then Mount Owen, which is just behind Queenstown, around to Mount Sedgwick, which Sandra and I took her dog Sarah up there for a walk from the top of Mount Lyell down into the valley, then up to Sedgwick and back again. Yeah, dog was a bit exhausted at the end of the day. Next to Sedgwick is the Frenchman's Cap, round to the King William range in the far distance, then Mount Gell. Don't know what those are. This is Eldon Peak, and around to Gerrian and all the peaks in the reserve, Ossa, etc., and Pelion West, the last big one. So yeah, I was going to go down there. I've just been down a bit lower, a little bit scrubby. I can't be buggered thrashing around in the scrub. So I'll stay up high on the range itself and give it a bloody good thrashing over the next couple of days. So yeah, very nice indeed. Top day in the top part of Tassie. Right, back at my campsite where I was last night. Turned out a beautiful afternoon. Fantastic spot here with the little tarn. Camped here many a time. It really is a magical little spot, and this is one of the few sheltered campsites. And then you find some bloody buffhead / retard. It's not even worthy of being called a human, decides to take their toilet matters this close to where people camp and this close to where they're naturally going to get their water. I mean, it doesn't take Einstein to work it out that you don't literally shit in your own backyard. So yeah, very disappointing to see. Never used to see it quite as prevalent as that 20, 30 years ago, I'll tell you. And last week when I was up at Cradle Mountain, coming down from Marion's Lookout, the steep track back to the lake, the Dove Lake track, someone had gone to the toilet within 10 centimetres of the track and had just left it there. Toilet paper, the whole lot. Hadn't even attempted to cover it up. I mean, you wonder, you really wonder what's happening to humanity. Anyway, rant and gripe over for the day. I'm not going to let it spoil my camping here. Needless to say, I'll be boiling my water. Good morning. Another fine day. Day 3. Breakfast is cooking. Yeah, the sunset was so-so last night, nothing to write home about, that's why I didn't film anything. Today we're going to go up onto the top and have an explore up there and see what transpires. Hopefully I'll camp up there tonight. The last time I was there I did notice some camping areas. Mount Sedgwick, Mount Owen, Geeky, Ocean Beach, Mount Zion, Mount Dundas. Right, this whole plateau up here is just a myriad of little cushion plants. They're everywhere. It's like walking through a minefield trying to not walk on them. And they just cover the entire top of this plateau. Yeah. Quite something. I'm told they only grow where the air is super pure and free of pollutants. I think there's a message in that for all of us. Here is an example of the how the wind sculpts the vegetation. These are some wind-sheared ficus bushes. it must howl up here an awful lot throughout the year. Whereas today it's just a nice breeze to keep the flies away. Now here's a small rock. You can see from the size of my finger it's not very big, but the actual plant growing behind it with a sort of a bit of a lichen cover as well, but just unbelievably tenacious plants to survive in conditions like this. Yes, certainly most of the vegetation here is prostrate. Before I pitch my tent, I'll give everyone a look at another one further on. But yes, bit more cloud cover this afternoon. It's probably about 20 degrees, just a nice temperature. Very nice to be sitting up here with the place to myself, looking over at Cradle Mountain, Lake Sinclair National Park, and just up on the horizon there is Pointy Barn Bluff, and the big one over there is Mount Pelion West. So yes, there's a four-wheel drive track that goes along by these lakes here and ends up at this bottom lake, which is called Lake Spicer. I walked in there once, I won't walk in again. The four-wheel drive track would need a bit of work doing to it for it to be usable again. I don't think it's been used for 30-40 years, and God knows why they put the track into the lake. No idea at all. But anyway, fantastic up here today, just magnificent. I'm so glad I walked out here. Good afternoon. Just seeking out a bit of shade under this rock face here. Had a cup of coffee, and yeah, I'll eventually put the tent up, but it's a bit warm out there in the full sun at the moment. I've got a nice little sheltered spot just over here that I've found. Managed to get some water up here. There are a few pools, so all's good. And the bloody views are just grandstand, so I'll have perfect location for sunrise in the morning, as well as over the back, probably 10 minutes away, great views of Geeky and out to the west coast for sunset. So here, fingers crossed that the cloud bank doesn't come in and obscure it all. But yeah, I mentioned before I was going to show you some more stunted trees, so wind-blown trees rather. Here's a couple here just near this rock, so the wind must come over and whistle down this gully here. I'll just show you these trees. Just the way they grow is just never ceases to amaze me. I'm quite intrigued, but anyway. That's him there, and you can really see how he's literally been at a haircut, not a hair out of place, out into the path of the wind. And this one down here looks like a hedge that's been cut with a bloody hedge trimmer. You can see where it's just sheared off any growth trying to get a foothold is blasted by the wind. So here's another one looking along the face, and you can really see it. Yeah, pretty fantastic. Yeah, the views here are yeah, pretty great. And Lake Huntley is just around the corner of this rock. So yeah, Eldon Peak in the distance, and my campsite's just going to be over here, just under this rock. It's quite sheltered there. So yeah, I hope that gives you a bit of an idea of the wind-blasted vegetation. day 3. Yeah, a lot of smoke about today. Wasn't too hot, which has sort of affected the optimum for taking good photos. But yeah, great part of the world up here. I'm so glad I came up to this part of the Tyndalls and didn't go out towards Sedgwick. Maybe leave that for another time.